Okay. Before we begin, why don't we have you start by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself?
Of course, yeah. Well, thank you first for the opportunity. My name is Jorge Lamboy Gonzalez. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I did my undergraduate there in chemistry, and then I went to UCI for my grad studies in chemistry as well. I was there from 2003 to 2008, and it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it very much. I after that I conducted postdoctoral work at UC San Diego in the area of biophysics, and then after that I stayed in the area in Southern California, and I got a job at a company developing and manufacturing medical devices that are used in clinical diagnostics, those devices that measure um, analytes in blood, for use in the clinic, to used by clinicians, by physicians. And currently, after doing that for many years, I moved to Washington D.C. And I have a 2-year position as a fellow at a government agency called the National Science Foundation.
I see. Awesome. How did you become interested in pursuing a career in chemistry?
I well, as a kid, I was always very curious, and I think natural for me. It was an easy decision for me to when it came time to choose a major. I knew it was going to be science, and I felt like chemistry was one of the more fundamental of the sciences, and that's why I decided to go for chemistry.
I see. How do most people get started in this field, or what are some common entry level positions?
Um, well, I think the position that I currently have is very unique, and it's not very common. So maybe I will speak about um, government work, because in the end, I'm working in government and the federal government. So people um, will generally get any government job in the federal government through a job portal called usajobs.gov. That's where all federal employees go, and or any job seekers um, will want to go, and basically you go through the whole process as any normal job. You get through the interviewing and all that. And I forgot the second part of your question.
Oh, just like what are some like common entry level positions?
Oh, yeah, common entry level. Say if someone with a bachelor's in science probably will be a science assistant. Not meaning like it doesn't mean that they won't do like interesting work, but science assistant doing the regular work that is needed by um, the specific office or agency that they are working in.
I see. Um, what skills or abilities would you say are essential to success in your job?
I think, well, for sure. Well, since I'm in a federal science agency, and by the way, the National Science Foundation, its mission is to promote the progress of science for the well-being and healthcare and well-being, health, and wealth of the U.S. So the, the the agency hires a lot of people with science backgrounds, and so having a science background is would be important. But I also would say that it is just as important to have the so-called soft skills, meaning you need to communicate well with people that you work with, people that are above at your level or below you, and you need to understand the information that the people need from you. You need to also prioritize, like have prioritization skill, how you prioritize your time, your tasks. That's always important. And I think that those are like the things that you normally don't learn in school. They don't teach you. Those are things that are actually very important. Like for example, like teamwork. I mean, you learn that through just practicing or doing it in real life.
I see. Um, is there something that surprised you the most when you first started working in your position?
Um, I wouldn't say this surprised me, but I think I would say that it was really interesting to see, because I'm still relatively new to government work. It was interesting for me to see how um, the priorities of the executive branch, meaning the White House, are um, are cascaded down to um, the different federal agencies, including mine, and how how those priorities and how those policies we have to implement, and basically the White House tells us, okay, this is important for us, we want you to do it, you figure it out, and then it's up to the agency to come up with the way to implement those those priorities. That doesn't mean that the agency itself um, doesn't have any of its own policies or priorities. Um, I think it's both policies that come from the top, as well as organic um, um, policies that the agency comes up with as well.
See. Um, are you able to establish a good work-life balance working in your field?
I think yes, and it has. I have to be very disciplined about having a work-life balance, because there's a lot of work and there's always work to do. And since most of the time I work from home, um, it's hard. Sometimes I lose track of time, and I need to be a little bit more like I have learned to be disciplined about my time and set boundaries of okay, I'm gonna stop at this time, and then after that I'm gonna dedicate time for myself or my family, my friends. And the answer is yes, but I have to be uh, quite disciplined and strict about it with myself.
I see. Um, what do you wish you had known before you started working in this industry?
Mm, well, there's when I when I started this position, there's many things that I didn't know. uh, and well, I did have an idea, or a general sense of what work I was going to be doing, and what what the what it is like to be working in government. Um, but other than that, I had no idea of what to expect, and uh, I have to say it has been a very pleasant and very and meaningful experience for me, because personally, the work that I do is impacting uh, people, and it's impacting the science, and has a direct impact on society. So I'm not sure if that was a straight answer, but I have to say I have been very pleased about this.
See. And then the final question, what advice would you give to someone considering this type of job?
I think I will say what I tell all my mentees, which is uh, learn, educate yourself as much as you can. If you can be a lifelong learner, and love what you do and love what you learn, because if you have love and passion in what you do, success in whatever form it means to you will inevitably come to you, and you will be successful and very happy. So I would say, yeah, learn as much as you can. That would be my advice.
That's great. Yeah, so those were all of the questions that I had. Thank you for participating in this interview. Um, and yeah,
Well, thank you for having me. It was my pleasure.
yeah. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.